Hi, welcome back to another tutorial. And this time we're going to talk about Microsoft Excel, or specifically about formatting, basic editing, and some formulas. Okay, so this file is available for you to download. I'll be providing a link for you to download this file so that you can also follow and do this on your own. Okay, to start with, let's start with the formatting. Now, as you can see here on the tabs, if you have the file already, you can browse through this file. Okay, so this file will serve as a cheat. It's like a guide for you, not really a cheat sheet, but a guide for you to apply some of the basics of how to use Microsoft Excel. So first one is formatting. Okay, so as you can see here on this exercise, we're starting with a 6 because the previous exercises, you know them already. So we're going to start with merge and center. So according to the instruction is select range B6 to G6. So how do we do that? We click first B6, which is B6 up to G6. So this is the range, okay? When you highlight it and then select it that way, you are actually selecting the range from B6 to G6. Now we're going to click on merge and center, which is, we can find it here on top, okay? Merge and center. When you click on it, it will go to the middle, okay? So done with the first one. Next is apply formatting. Okay, so select each of the five cells in turn in the range of B18 to B22. Format the cell by clicking the appropriate formatting tool button from the formatting toolbar. Okay, so on the formatting toolbar that we have here, what I'm using actually is Microsoft Office 2016. You might have another version, so you can just look for that. Click on some of the, usually if it's in the home, okay? So you see it here, dollar sign, percent, okay, dollar, percent, comma, and then you increase or decrease the number of zeros from the right, okay? So as okay, as a with the instruction B18 intern. Okay, B18 to B22. That means B18, we put a dollar sign. So you click on that. If you want to remove that, you click that again. I'm sorry. Okay. There are other actually in addition to that, if you want to remove that or just add more to the options, you can right click on any cells actually and click on right click and then click on format cells. Okay, so from here you'd be able to see what data you'd like. So by default, this kind of data that I have is, it was set to accounting. Okay, so decimal places is 2. So and the symbol is dollar sign. So if you want to remove that, you click on none and then click OK, and then it will disappear. Okay, or any other options. Okay, so if you don't see any of this on your screen, you just right click on it. Right click and then format cells, and then you'll find the other options here. Okay, so you can try them and experiment on how it works. Okay, so let me try first the other instructions. So 100 and then dollar sign. Next is the percentage. Click on 100 and then percentage. It turns to percentage. Okay. And then comma. I'm going to click on the comma. Click first this one because according to the instruction, each of the five cells in turn in the range. So in turn. So this one for this one for this one for this. Okay. So 1000, I click the comma sign, comma symbol, and then automatically it will um, put a comma after 3 digits from the right. Okay, from the right. Now, next one is this, increase decimals. There, you see? Can you see that? The other one, decrease the decimal until there's none. Okay, so you can experiment on this so that you'll understand this all the more. Another thing I'd like to take for you to take note is if it is in a particular format, let's say for example 85, that's just a number, and then you turn it into a percentage. So I'll go to format cells. If I don't see this, you have the option to click on this, or in maybe in some of your case where you don't find this, you just right click on it. Okay, what we're trying to do is put a percentage sign on this. So format cells and then percentage here, there. So automatically it will convert to 85, 8,500% because if you still remember your math, if you can convert a number to percentage, you move the decimal two values to 2 digits to the right. Okay, so let's just have it 85% so that will be realistic. So that's 85%. Now, if ever you would like to change this to a number, just a number and a non percentage um type of value, say for example, uh there. So that means what this means actually is that whatever number you press here, it will always be converted to percentage. Okay? So for you to put that back into a non-percentage value, what do? Of course, you just go back to that setting. So right click, format cells, and then instead of percentage, you can click now on number. Okay. So you may or may not remove, example for me, I don't like any decimal values because I'll be expecting whole numbers. So I'll remove the decimal places and there. So this is, so any number you press, enter here is going to be a non-percentage value already because I've set it to a particular format. Okay. Another thing, okay, is, and then another example is if initially you've set it, example today is November slash 24 slash 2020. Okay, it will go back to that because it's not set to a date format. So what you do is, of course, you put a date format. So format cells, here it is. Okay, so date. So you choose which kind of format you'd like. Okay, so this, it's all here. So don't forget to always, if you get confused on how a value is displayed on your screen, always go back to format cells. Okay, so I'd like this. Okay, so there you go. It's November 11/24, 2020. How about another format? Another format of date. Let's say, let's have this. There it goes. Okay. So my point is, if you get confused and you don't know what to do on the values that's being displayed on your screen, you go there to the format cells, and you may um, change the format. Okay. So basically here, the format cells, you have not only the category, you also actually have the alignment. Okay. If you like to turn it to this way, so it will be that way. Okay. Let's change this to just the simple text. Text. Okay. So computer. Let's have computer. Okay. So it will look like that. So we need to put it in the middle. Format cells. Alignment. It's at the bottom. So we need to be it in the center and center also so that it's going to stay in the center. Okay, so basically what I'm telling you is it's almost here. It's almost all when it comes to formatting is here in the format cells. Okay. So you'd like to return that. You just turn this again here. Okay. There. Okay. So done with that. Next is apply borders. So select the range of colored cells. This is what it means. And then formatting toolbar. What we have here is in the home. And then with your border toolbar to add a thick border around the outside. So it's here, this one. And that's it. Okay. Again, if you don't see this, say for example, you are in the view menu and you don't see that, you can just, and you forgot about where to change the borders settings, you can always go back to format cells. Okay. So select the cells that you need to format cells, and then here in the border you see it here. So if example you'd like to remove that, click on those part of the cells that or group of cells that you'd like to remove, and then it's okay there. Okay. So another is format cells. You can actually choose some other styles of the lines or color. Okay. You can do the customizations here. Okay. So that's for applying borders. Let me just follow the instruction there. Okay. Next is create a text box. So insert. How do you format text box? Insert text box. And then you click on text box, and then you click on any part, and then you type here already what you need to type. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay. So a text box is a box where you can type text, of course, and you can move it wherever you'd like to move it. Okay. So it stays on top, by default stays on top of your spreadsheet, and anything that it hovers onto will cover it. Okay. So that's a text box. Next is Format Painter. Format Painter means it copies the format of what you need to say for example, this one, the instruction here is you're going to use a Format Painter of this and apply it to this. So how do we do that? You first select the format you'd like to copy to any any part of the spreadsheet. Okay, first is select it, and then Format Painter is just here. Click on it, and then where you'd like to paint the format. So it's this part. You just drag it and then release. And then there you go. It's like a magic. Okay. So it makes your work faster. Okay. With the Format Painter. Okay. And next one, we're done with formatting. Next one is basic editing. Okay. So I'm gonna make it bigger. So basic editing. So B7. So we're talking about fill box. Okay, filling up. We've done this already. We've done this already with the previous activity. Okay. So what you do according to the instruction is B7 and B8, B7 to B8, B7 to B8, and then you click drag the fill box. This is the fill box. Okay. The small square on the bottom right of your selection. And what you do is you pull it down. So automatically, if it's in sequence, it will automatically detect the interval. So 5 and 10, that means 5. There's 5 in between. So it adds 5 to the next value. So 10 plus 5 plus 15 plus 5, 20 plus 5, 25 plus 5, and so on and so forth. So automatically that means for this March and April, it's going to March, April, May, June. Okay? So it's going to be like this. Another is this one. If you customize something and has numbers with sequence, if you do the fill, it will automatically also um, uh, do the sequence. Okay? So that is for using the fill box. Okay, another is custom lists. So Excel automatically detects if, example, this one, it's the name of months. Okay, so it detects that it actually is in a sequence. That means it has the next value that's gonna follow it is actually February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay? So when you drag the fill box, there you go. For same for this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When it reaches Sunday, automatically it's Monday. It goes back to Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. Okay? That is Excel's built-in custom lists. Okay, so if you have a question, what if, sir, I don't like to have the sequence, so January, the next one is January also, so you don't use the fill box. Okay, example, let's have this January, so you copy it and then paste. Okay, so you only use the fill box if you like to automatically you can one of the use of fill box is automatically generate a sequence of the values. Exercise 13, copy and paste formula. Make D47 the current cell and then drag over the formula. So you click this first and then you highlight this and then copy, Control C. Okay, Control C. Next is don't forget to hit the escape key or else you get this wrong. Okay, escape key and then click on B49 and then Control V. Okay, so what happened was we actually, since we copied um, the formula itself here from the name box and then hit escape, don't forget to hit escape and then click on anywhere we'd like for it to display and then paste it there. Okay, so if you as you can see on this cell, the formula is still the same. D45, same with this. D45 and D46. Okay, the next step method is D47. Click on D47 again and Control C. And then click B51, this one, and Control V. The answer is 0. Why? Because what it did was it adjusted the cell reference. So for us to know, okay, you for us to verify is what you can do is you double click. See what happened? It actually since what we did was just copy this directly. We did not copy it from the name box. We just copied it from here and then pasted it here. So it copied um, where the reference. Okay, so for us to verify, like for example, for this one, since I copied this and pasted it here, so the reference is the two cells above it. Okay, two cells above it. So this is what we call as um, absolute referencing. Okay, so we already had this example the previous activity we had. Okay, next is edit, copy, edit, paste special to convert formulas to values. Okay, click on each of the cells B65 to B69, B65 to B69, and see in the formula bar that each is a formula. Okay, each one is a formula. Let's see. There. How do you know it's a formula? Because it has an equal sign. Okay, it has an equal sign. So it's a formula. Now, uh, select range B65 to B69, and then menu, copy it, or Control C, or right click and then copy. Click on cell D65, which is this one, and then choose a copy. Uh, sorry, click edit paste special. So what we can do, a shortcut for that is just right click and then click on paste special. And then as you can see, there's a paste special. This is the dialog box for paste special. Click on the values only. Values. And then click OK. So there. So here now you have the numbers only. There's no more formulas. Not like with this one, you have the formula. You have formula. Okay? So if you need to copy something that you don't need the formula anymore, you just need the values, you use the paste special. Okay? Again, let's do that. Select, copy, right click on where you'd like to put that, and then click on space special, and then values only. As you can see, there are a lot of other options here, but since we just needed the values, we'll just click on the values. And there you go. So the numbers in the range should appear the same as, okay, so we did this already. Okay. So next is edit, copy, paste, copy and edit paste special to transpose data. Okay, so transposing, this is not supposed to be there. Okay. Transposing is it's like the another formatting of that. So if it's from a this position, if you transpose it to another part of your spreadsheet, January and February will now be located here on top, and then the values will be here below. Okay, let's have the instruction. So highlight range B85, which is this one, to D87, and then copy. Okay, right click, copy. B90, click on B90 because this is where we'd like to transpose the data. So again, we use the paste special feature. Right click and then paste special. Now, before we use the values, now we're going to use the transpose, this one. So let's see what happens. We use the what happens when we use the transpose. There, you see the difference? So January, February, and March are here already as like a column header, and then the values are here below. Not like with this one, they became the in a row format. Now it's in a column format. So that's how you use transpose. Okay? So that's for basic editing. Okay? So if uh, I know you're going to do this, okay, so that you'll be able to apply and understand how it really functions. So finally, we're going to the formulas. Okay, formulas, copying a formula, I'm going to make this bigger. Copying a formula using relative reference. So, check to see that C11 at the left holds the sum formulas. Where's C11? This one. Yes, the sum formula is the same as this. So C8 to C10. Make cell C11 the current cell. Position the mouse pointer on the lower right, this one. Okay, right hand corner of the C11 and drag across E11. So it's using, again, what do you, if you still remember on the previous discussion, this is the fill. Okay, what was that? Again, fill. The term was the term fill box. Okay, there you go. This one, fill box. Okay, so this is the fill box. We drag it here. That's the instruction. And then you see, As you can see, we have the same output as this one, 900, 465, and 135. Okay, Excel has adjusted the cell references so they refer to the correct values. That is sum C8 to C10 becomes this one. Okay, so automatically it copies the referencing. So to verify if we did it correctly, yes, that is supposed to be how it should look like. There. Okay, so you double click on any formula so that you'll be able to verify which cells were actually included in the computation. Okay, so next is copying a formula using absolute reference. Okay, so this one in the absolute reference, okay, um, check to see if C35, this is which this one, holds the formula sum 32 34 times C9. Okay, so which is correct. This is same. Position the mouse pointer on the filled black square at the lower right hand corner. Again, it's the fill box and drag to C11. And drag, I'm sorry, drag the pointer across to cell C30, E35. So I'm gonna drag it here. Okay, there. So it's the same as what we're expecting. Okay, the formulas in cells D35 and E35, where's D35? D35 and E35 are incorrect as copied. Why? Excel has used its default relative referencing in copied formulas, but that's not appropriate for reference to take tax rate in cell C29. Okay, because as you can see, um, what's included in the computation, the C29, okay, is this one, 4%. So if you double click on this, there's no more 4% here. Same with this, there's no more 4%. So that means it should actually be, the D29 should actually be this one, still the C29. So what's the solution for that, as what we've discussed on our previous activity? That is absolute referencing. Okay, so how do we do that? We click on this, and then, okay, remember this is C29. Okay, C29. So we can copy this formula provided that this part here, which is C29, we put a dollar sign before, okay, before the letter and before the number, which is dollar, which means dollar C, dollar 29. Okay, so let's have that dollar. As you can see here, it's D29. This is E29. This is still supposed to be C29. Same with this. Okay, so let's put a dollar here before pulling it again. I'm gonna remove this because this is wrong, because this is D29 and this is E29. So this is supposed to be C29. Same with this C29. Let's remove this first. And then, again, what did I tell you? What did I just say? We put a dollar sign because this is what's affected the C29. So put a dollar sign before the letter and before the number and press enter. So we still have the same value, but if we pull it, or we use the fill box, or uh, there, okay? So what happened was, there, it stayed the anchor. You call that an anchor. The C29 is still C29. Same here. C29 is still C29. Okay, it did not move because of the dollar sign. Okay, so uh, absolute, this is absolute row and column, absolute row and, okay, so what we did was, the row and column were absolute. That's why it did not move. So this is what's supposed to be the output, and we have the same output as well. So we did it correctly. Okay, next is built-in functions of the Excel. So how do we use it? Okay, we have here the functions here actually and more functions. But to illustrate an example is this. How do we get the sum of these values here? Okay, write the function in each of cells C64 to C67. So we're going to put the functions according to what it is requiring us, okay? Which is the sum, the average, the minimum. That means among the list of numbers, which one is the smallest number, that is minimum, and the max is the maximum, okay? So for sum, so again, for it to be considered as a formula, don't forget the equal sign. Equals, and then sum, because we're asking for the sum. It doesn't matter if it's small letter or capital letter, it doesn't matter. And then close, open parenthesis, and then you can type one by one, or you can actually just drag or select the cells, okay, that are affected there, and then close parenthesis. Or in other words, we can put a here C59 colon this one C62 and then close parenthesis there. Okay, so this is what's supposed to be the correct answer, and we've got it correctly. Okay, another way of doing that as okay, let's have another way of doing that is instead of typing the cell names, okay, we can just select it by using our mouse. So sum, don't forget the open parenthesis, then like that, and then close there. Okay, so we still have the same output. Okay, so another is for the average, still the same, equal sign, average, then open parenthesis. You can highlight this, or you can click on the C59 and then colon, and then this one, the sorry, C59 to C59 to C62, which is 550, 450, which is the same as this. And another way again is average, open parenthesis, highlight, and then close. There you go. Okay, same goes for minimum. Min, open parenthesis, highlight, close, enter. 235 is the same. Again, for the max, max equals, I'm sorry, open parenthesis, select, and then close parenthesis, press enter. And then we have the same answer as this. And for today's date, we don't have to look at our clock. We just type the formula today and then open close parenthesis, then enter. Okay, so it's whatever date it is, when you open this file, it will be the exact date as what your computer displays. Okay, so it will not be fixed. It is going to fetch the date of the press, the data from your system clock. Okay, so next is exercise using Excel logical functions. Okay, so how do we do this? With an if function. Okay, cell C82. Write an if function on cell C82. Where's C82? This one. Okay, C82. That compares the sales in quarters 1 and 2 and returns the text Q1 better than 2 or Q2 better than Q1. Your formula should look like this. Okay, so that means if C77, which one? This one. This one, C77 is greater than C78, the output should be this one, or else Q2 is better than Q1. Okay, so I can just copy that because it's here already. Okay, copy. And then paste it here. I'm gonna remove now the parenthesis. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be there also. Oops. What happened? Let me do it again. There. Because there was an extra space. Q2, comma, Q2 better than Q1. Period. Should always end with a, sorry, something's wrong with my formula. Let me just type it. Something's, okay, there were extra texts. So let me just type it. If, as you can see, automatically Excel gives you a Microsoft Excel, sorry, gives you the syntax of what's gives you a hint of what should be your next part of the statement. So C77 is greater than C78, comma Q1 better than Q2, better than Q2, parenthesis, comma. This means if this is satisfied, our C77 is greater than, if this is true, this is the output, Q1 better than Q2. Or else, if it's false, the output is going to be Q2 better than Q1. Uh, parenthesis, end quote, and then parenthesis. There. Okay? So, this is automatically the result. Okay? So, Q1 is better than Q2 because 500 is greater than 350. Okay? So, the next one is write an if statement in cell C84 that includes a nested max function that returns text exceeded 600 million sales in one quarter. If any quarter meets that criteria or quota, not met. If not, your formula should actually look like this. So let me just copy this. Okay, copy and then paste. Sorry, did that happen? Okay. Let me do that again. Copy. Let me type it first in a notepad because it doesn't, oh, that's why. Because it doesn't appear one line in Excel. That's why it generates error. Sorry, what happened? They're not right. Okay, so I'll copy this and paste it here. Yeah. So that's the result. Exceeded 600 M sales because this is true. Okay. If max C77 to C80, C77 to C80 is greater than 600, that means among any of these values have exceeded 600, which is quarter 4, the output is going to be 600 M sales quarter. Okay. Otherwise, if let's try to change this. Okay. So because the argument is that's greater than 600, let's change this to 600. There. It changed to quota not met. Or for this one, let's try it here. So let's change this to 600. Okay, Q2 now is better than Q1. Okay, so finally, Write an if statement in cell 86 that compares sales Q1, Q2. If Q1 sales are greater, return the difference. If Q1 sales are less, return the increase. Okay, your formula should look like this. Let me just copy paste it again. But now I'm gonna, just like what I did before, I'm gonna copy paste it here. Okay, so it's okay. It's in one line. So let me just copy that again and put that here. So there. Okay, the condition is that if C77 is greater than C78, C77 is greater than C78, what should be the output? The output is going to be C77 minus C78. So C77, yeah, C77 is going to, uh, otherwise, okay, let me just check. C77 grade, which is this one, C78 minus C77, because in this argument, okay, C77 is greater than C78. C77 is not greater than C78. That means it used um, this argument, okay? So instead of this, because it is false, so this is 78 minus C77, which we have 600 minus 500. That's why our answer is 100. Okay, so let's try to make it 800. So this follows the first argument, which is Q1 is greater than Q2, or C77 is actually greater than C78. C77 is greater than C78. So what it did was C77 minus C78. So 800 minus 600 equals, the answer is 200. Okay? So finally, using Excel's formula auditing tools. So turn on Excel's formula auditing tools toolbar by choose formula auditing. So formula, and then you look for auditing. Um, here, here's the part for or formula auditing. So you have trace precedents, trace dependents, and so on and so forth. So next is click on cell C105. Where's that? This one. And click trace precedents. Click on trace precedents. This one. So what does trace precedent do? Shows arrows that indicate which cells affect the value of the currently selected cell. So whatever the formula is, it actually highlights. So trace, again, we click on trace precedents. So there. So this is actually what's affecting the it was referring to our formula. Click on cell C101. Okay. Click on, next is click on cell C101, where C, this one, and click on trace dependence. So in trace dependence, it shows that indicate which, show arrows that indicate which cells are affected by the value. Okay, the other way around. So there. Okay. So okay. So values that depend on the tax rate value. Click remove all arrows buttons on trace toolbar to remove the auditing indicators. So going back here, remove arrows to um, remove the views of the arrow. So this is useful, especially if you're trying to trace something out. Okay, you can use the formula auditing. Okay, you can use the basic ones, which is trace dependence and trace precedence. Okay, so that's all, guys, for today. We're going to continue with the discussion next meeting. So I am hoping that you'll be able to also do this on your own. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for your time, and have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.